3 stories, 1 algorithm. Making decisions for you without your knowledge, without your consent. 2 actually happened, 1 is completely made up. The catch? They're all written the same way, so you can't just go by how it sounds. You have to go by how it feels. Let's go.
Welcome back to Two Real, Two Truths, One Lie. 3 stories. 2 actually happened. 1 is completely made up. Your job is to figure out which one.
This week, every story is about the same thing. Invisible algorithms making decisions about who you are, whether you're cheating, whether you deserve a job, and whether you deserve to be seen. And the people running these systems, they have no idea how wrong their AI can be.
And in every case, the question isn't just real or fake. The question is, when an algorithm makes a decision about you without your knowledge and you never even know it happened, who's actually at fault?
No right answers, just gut reactions. Let's get into it. So if you are new, subscribe now. We do this every Monday. 2 real, 2 truths, and a lie. Ready for the first story, Mike?
Let's go.
Okay, story 1. Am I the asshole for being furious that an AI proctoring system flagged me for blinking during an exam? I got flagged for cheating because I blinked during an exam, and my school said it was justified. My school switched to AI proctoring last year. They said it was to ensure exam integrity and to prevent cheating. The system monitors you through your webcam while you take tests online. It watches your eyes, your face, your movements. It flags anything it deems as suspicious. I didn't think much about it. I'm a good student. I don't cheat. I figured I'd just take the exam and it would be fine. During my calculus exam, I was focused. And I was nervous. I was trying to remember formulas and solve problems. And apparently, I was blinking a lot, which is what humans do. We blink. That's how eyes work. But the AI flagged me for excessive blinking detective, and that was my suspicious behavior. I found out about the flag when my professor pulled me into her office. She showed me the report generated by the proctoring system. The list of my offenses: excessive blinking, eyes moving in suspicious patterns, shifting position in chair, head turned too far to the left. I was taking a calculus exam. I was solving problems. I was thinking. Of course, my eyes were moving. Of course, I shifted in my chair. I was sitting there for 2 hours. I asked my professor if she thought I was cheating. She said, "No, I don't. I know you didn't cheat, but the AI flagged you, so we have to investigate." Investigate meant watching my recorded exam video frame by frame, looking for evidence of cheating that wasn't there. She found none. I got my grade. No academic penalty. But here's what made me angry. I found out later that the AI proctoring system has been flagging tons of students for completely normal behavior. Students got flagged for blinking. I like this one, Mike. Having curly hair. The algorithm couldn't recognize their facial features correctly. Shifting in their chairs, looking right or left, being cross eyed, simply breathing irregularly. One student got flagged because suggested thinking. Thinking during an exam. How dare she? Teachers started rebelling. Parents threatened lawsuits. Students declared it an enemy system. And then I found out the AI also has racial bias. It flags women with darker skin tones at a significantly higher rate than other groups. The school kept using the system for months, even after multiple complaints. Even after evidence showed it was making wrong decisions and discriminating against certain students. So, am I the asshole for being furious that an algorithm decided it was suspicious for normal human behavior, for feeling violated by a system that's supposed to ensure fairness while actually being biased against certain groups?
I'd be flagged all the time for thinking too much.
Mike, you got suspicious eyes.
I know. I get that's my feedback all the time. Why do your eyes move around? I'm like, cause I think.
Or your
Well,
eyes
you
would be closed too much.
guys,
When you're
I'm
thinking and you
thinking
close those.
all the time. All the time I'm thinking. So anyway, at least when I do remote work, people can't judge me because all they know is I move the cursor around their screen while I'm doing stuff. And they're like, "Are you done yet?" I'm like, "No, I'm thinking." Because I'm not there, but if I was there, they'd be like, "Well, you're thinking too much. You're taking too long to think." Anyway, I get
Well,
judged for thinking too much all the time in my job.
okay, you gotta sit there and go, "What the heck?" Like, literally, your hair's curly, like and it feels weird that they use it for months, especially knowing all of these issues, right? Like, I feel like this was a maybe they were trying to justify it by the
How much money
expense.
they spent on a system that is literally using all their students as guinea pigs.
Exactly, exactly. So they don't wanna deny that it's literally useless technology, but
No,
clearly it was not working in the appropriate way. Breathing, breathing, shifting in your chair after you're sitting for 2 hours, like,
you're too shifty looking.
literally, you're shifting too much in your seat,
But
right?
when you're reading it, I was like looking for the cliff notes on the back of my wrist, right? Because that's the way we used to cheat. All the words written on our hand that you could barely make out. Yeah.
I don't know, like, I just absolutely unbelievable. Like, that is tech implementation gone wrong, in my personal opinion.
But the school's going to use it forever because, well, even what was it? I remember this wasn't an AI system. I remember when we were like in university, not university, high school, like a while ago, and wasn't there? Didn't we get new computers in high school, grade 12, because the school signed up for some type of like software monitoring or whatever? I know the it was really controversial because a lot of the school obviously wanted new computers, and back in our generation in high school, it was like the big CRT, like you had to make a special lab just for computers because they were so massive. And I think there was like monitoring. We had internet access in grade 12, but it's super slow. But I think we got the computers because there was software on there that was like monitoring what we use the internet for back in the year 99 and 2000, and it was huge controversy, but of course the school still took it because it was a free computer lab. So I just your students are always going to be the guinea pigs of stuff like this. So
Exactly, exactly. I feel like this is the, like, funniest story, but it's just, like, it shows you a good example of technology that's not quite useful yet, right? And there is something about eye movement. They know that, people that watch people's actual movements can say, like, if somebody looks, I can't remember if it's to the left or right or whatever, that they're trying to fabricate a story versus when they're trying to remember things. So I know
is that me all the time? Left to the right, to the left to the right.
So I know that there's human cues, but clearly, like, there's some major problems, right? So
100%.
so I would say, what is your verdict on this, Mike?
Um, the school whoever implemented this system is the asshole. The students wouldn't, because guess what? Remember, like, just remember, you as a student in whatever grade, high school, like whatever grade, and you're just like doing tests, and you'd be so stressed, like you'd be so, even if you thought you were gonna ace it, you'd be so stressed out because you're just like, especially with multiple choice stuff, because you're like, wait a minute, I thought I knew what the answer was, but the multiple choice is too close to being correct. And you'd be so stressed out, and just be like second guess, like, what does your face look like when you're second guessing yourself internally?
Exactly, exactly, right? Like, and
I remember our university teacher being like, "You guys are so smart, and you passed every test, but final exam you sucked."
well, in fairness, I feel like when the more stress you're at, the more you make mistakes, and that often happens. And then if you got this extra level of, like, tech spying on you, and then finding out you're going to be, like, literally just exist. So I'm assuming most kids were flagged because they would have done something that would have been suspicious. And then when it's a racially biased, no one's winning, right?
Hey, you know what I think? You know what I wish, in a case of being flagged, I wish that flight we took from LaGuardia to Dallas last week when they saw that lady live streaming from the gate. I wish they would have flagged her before her getting on the plane. Where is the flagging?
And
Anyway,
sometimes I agree. Well, the verdict overall was definitely not the asshole, clearly, right? You're flagged for normal behavior. The system has documented racial bias. The school knew this, kept using it. You have every right to be angry. The school rolled out an AI proctoring without proper testing or biased audits, and they continued using it even after learning about the false flags and the racial bias. Again, both are failures and both are back on the school. And of course the school doesn't want to admit that they bought shit software. You know that. Nobody wants to admit we
or they were bribed with that software.
exactly.
We'll give you funding if you make all your students go through
Yeah,
this.
probably the district's like, if you get this, you get, do this, implement this, and we'll give you this, right? There's usually
Just put up with all the false positives. We have a higher proportionate of students with curly hair or dark skin tones. Perfect. We want to make sure. Like,
you know what? In reality, then you might as well force them in a classroom, and if they're using a computer, have like multiple people literally watching every person, right? Like, I'm gonna say it's probably would have been cheaper than that software. So the top comments, this is what we get when schools try to use AI to automate trust. An algorithm that punishes normal human behavior and discriminates based on race, and then humans have to override it anyways. Why use it at all, right?
cha-ching, cha-ching,
So
cha-ching.
I want to make a nice shout out. Hello, Mind Mystique. Thank you for joining us. And we also have a Kayshawn Khan. Thank you for joining us as well. But let's go into story number 2. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Second story. So again, keep it in mind. Do you think that was real or fake? Let's continue. Story 2. Am I the asshole for being devastated that a dating app secretly hid me from everyone? I thought nobody wanted me. It turns out the app didn't want me to exist. I can resonate with that. I'm 42. I've been on a dating app for years. When I was younger, in my 30s, I'd get matches, I'd go on dates. But around the age 40, things changed. My matches dried up, way up. At first, I thought it was just reality. Older women get fewer options. I accepted it. But I kept paying for premium features. I kept swiping. I kept hoping. I started to get frustrated. No matches for weeks. So I did an experiment. I changed my age on the app from 42 to 38 just to test. Just to test. Within days, I started getting matches, real matches, people messaging me. So I changed it back to 42. Matches stopped immediately. I did this 3
Ah.
times. Same pattern every time. Age 38 equals matches, age 42 equals nothing. And then I realized the algorithm wasn't broken. It was working exactly as designed, hiding older women to maximize engagement for younger users. I researched and I found articles about how dating apps algorithms work. And it got dark. It turns out dating apps use algorithms which learn which types of users get more engagement. And one pattern, and that's the pattern their system learned. Younger users engage more, they match more, they message more, they stay on the app longer. So the algorithm deprioritizes older users. It doesn't delete our profiles, but hides them. It shows our profiles less frequently to potential matches. We're technically still on the app, we're just invisible. It's called shadowbanning, and it's how apps maximize engagement without being obvious about age discrimination. The algorithm's logic is younger users equal more engagement, more subscription revenue. So it deprioritizes older users, hides them, they keep paying for premium in hopes of matches, they get their money, and they never know their profiles are being suppressed. So I was paying for premium features that were supposedly helping me get matched, but the algorithm was actually working against me the whole time. I felt foolish and angry. Here I was blaming myself, thinking nobody wanted to date me, losing confidence, but actually the system was hiding me while taking my money. When I looked more into it, I found this happens on multiple dating apps. The algorithm learns the patterns. Younger users get prioritized, older ones get hidden. Women with certain body types get deprioritized. Users from certain racial backgrounds get less visibility. The apps call it algorithmic optimization. I call it discrimination. And the worst part is it's invisible. We never know what's happening. So am I the asshole for being devastated and furious that an algorithm decided I was worth hiding? And the system I was paying for was actively working against me.
Real life. Jeez. I feel like I'm being hidden all the time because of my age and my experience.
I think the worst part about this is taking your money on top of it. So not only shadow banning you, because I get that, I feel that all the time. Like, I know there's some social medias, no one sees anything. I can even tag you, and your tag magically disappears, and you don't even know I post something. So I get the shadow banning, but it's just like insult to injury is just now we're just going to take your money on top of it.
Yeah, when I post on stuff, like it's like, like one or two, and I'm like randomly I get a weird comment. It's like, oh wow, did somebody actually see my comment? Wow. Anyway, this I can't confess I've ever been on a dating app, so I don't know. It just that's funny that she, I'm assuming it was a woman. Change your age and got more matches. So it's like, is that just training you to lie about your age all the time?
Well, exactly, because now if you know it, well, it's very much like us.
I'd be like, hey, just minus 20 years. They're 40s, just say you're 20 because definitely matches. However, it might be, can you, how's it going to be when you actually match with people and then they find out you're, well, you don't necessarily have to tell them that you're the real age, right? So.
Well, but it's like the age discrimination with jobs, right? So if you have too much experience, it's already going to assume you're a different age. So even if you lie about your age, you've got too much experience, like we've talked about in
That's
previous.
what we assumed, and then our friend told us that last week. It's just like, yeah, no, you're just once you get over that certain age, you're not going to be seen. So good luck to you.
So definitely, your verdict.
She's not the asshole, and she's the winner for actually confirming that if she made her age younger, she actually got matches. She
Exactly,
out.
because clearly her profile picture didn't give it away. So they
Well,
wouldn't they're being 38 or 42.
could have put 28. Come on.
Exactly. I'm 20 years.
As long as you look like, not too far off, because the only way you're going to be able to tell you're old is if you're gray like this, right? So.
Okay, now it makes me think of our movie we watched, Blast from the Past, from the 90s. And that's when Brendan Fraser comes out from the, what was it, the bomb shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's 35, and somebody's asking him his age, and he's like, "Well, I'm 35." He's like, "You look like you're 25." He's like, "You must age older up here, right? Like on the top, right?" So maybe we all just need to go live underground, or maybe it'll do us some good. Get out of social media, go live underground in a bomb shelter, have no communication with other people. Well, exactly. We'll all just, get younger. Just get younger. So the verdicts were, of course, you are not the asshole. You're being actively hidden by algorithm and paying for the privilege to be invisible. Like, that's just so harsh. You lost years of confidence because a system was deliberately suppressing you. You should be angry. And dating apps use shadow banning to maximize revenue. They profit off of invisible users who keep paying, hoping for matches. And you should pursue legal action or file complaints with regulators, as this is discriminatory. And dating apps are designed to keep you single while charging you for money. There is a truth to that, right? Shadow banning older users is just a business model, and it is predatory.
You know what? It's just like, we've had other stories that have come up, like with the Uber and the Lyft drivers and all that stuff. They know if it's like they know if you're desperate, and they're just going to show you less rides if you're not, if you're not accepting what you're given, they're just going to hide everything from you. So
exactly right. And I'm glad, Jimmy Myers, that you're having fun at 53. That is wonderful.
Jimmy's back. Yay. Hi, Jimmy.
And Jimmy also did put in the comments that the fires were getting worse. So that's sad to say. That's sad to hear. We might
So,
we might have a what did you say? That you said might be hitting us over here in Austin.
there's a not hurricane. The hurricane's supposed to hit this part of the Gulf, which looks like low 100s, and then like intense rain on Saturday. But we'll see, because everybody's like, "Hey, we need more." Apparently, it's been record rain in Texas, but it's been super dry. I don't know. We're just visiting, right? So we'll see.
We'll see. I'm gonna say there's been not lovely weather everywhere, so everyone gets something fun: hurricane, forest fire, dying from heat. Good times. Let's jump to story number 3. So keep in mind, is this true or false? Is this story real or fake? Story number 3. You ready, Mike?
Yeah, I've got a Great Pyrenees sitting on my lap right now.
He's ready for the story. He's ready.
Exactly.
Am I the asshole for suing Facebook because their algorithm showed job ads only to men? I applied for a job and I never even saw the ad because Facebook's algorithm decided I wasn't the right gender. I was looking for work in 2025. I was specifically searching Facebook job listings. I thought I'd see job ads for positions I was qualified for, but I was seeing a very specific type of job: nursing assistant, childcare worker, teacher, cleaning service, all heavily marketed to women. My friend was also looking for jobs too. Same time frame. We actually worked together in our previous job. We had similar roles, similar experience, similar qualifications. Same platform, same region, same skill set, but we were seeing completely different job ads. He was seeing construction, engineering, bus driver, management positions, heavy recruitment push. I was seeing the nursing assistant, childcare, teachers, cleaning service, heavy recruitment push. We were looking for jobs on the same platform. We have the same skills. We have similar backgrounds. The only difference was our gender. And we were seeing entirely different opportunities. At first, I thought maybe it was our settings. Maybe we'd filtered differently. But no, we checked. Same region, similar qualifications. The only difference, again, was our gender. So I filed a complaint with regulators, and it turned out we weren't alone. Hundreds of people reported the same thing. Facebook's ad algorithm was sorting job advertisements by gender, even though the advertisers never specified a gender preference. Here's what was happening. The algorithm learned from historical data. It saw that men clicked on construction ads more, women clicked on childcare ads more, so it optimized by showing those ads as the preference. But that optimization was actually discrimination. I was it was enforcing gender stereotypes. An ad for a bus driver was shown almost exclusively to men, even though women can drive buses. An ad for a nursing assistant was almost shown exclusively to women, even though men can work in that as a nursery assistant. The algorithm was learning from base biased. I can totally speak today. I'm just giving up. No, the algorithm was learning from biased historical data. Men traditionally drivers, women traditionally childcare workers, and then reinforcing the bias in real time. But here's what stuck about it. How many job opportunities did I miss? How many women saw fewer job options? How many men were steered only towards traditionally male jobs? The algorithm was supposed to be neutral, but it wasn't. It was learning from the biased world and making the bias worse. It was closing doors for people based on gender. So am I the asshole for fighting back against an algorithm that was quietly deciding who deserved to see what jobs?
That's crazy, but everything is literally a website or an app these days, and I am sure that everything is. But we don't know this stuff until it's brought out in stories like this. But it's like as soon as you use something, you're asked for like either your sex, your age, or your location. So realistically, everything's going to be biased based on those three preliminary pieces of data. Like, oh, this is available to you until you type in your postal code or zip code. Oh, sorry, it's not. Like, I've had that stuff before. It's like, well, wait a minute. You advertised something to me, and then as soon as I filled out some preliminary information, nope, it's gone.
Well, exactly. And then you're like, what happened to that? I've offended the
I'm like,
algorithm.
you advertised in my area because I know you're using my location data to advertise to me, whether it's on, you know, email or Google Maps or whatever the case may be. And then as soon as I give you so it's not surprising, but until you read stories like this and we share these stories with you, you wouldn't really. They wouldn't be top of mind, right? So, and that's why we
Well, and
want
you
you.
might not notice because clearly this lady was doing more of a construction or driver job and was like, why don't I see those type of jobs? Like, there's nobody looking in that industry, right?
Because you're using an online system that is, especially if it's Facebook, it's going to be so yeah, anything, the only real way is really talk to a human, like call up if those
I
even
feel like
exist. Do humans even exist at like job board, those places in your community where you get jobs? It used to be like job boards or whatever. Like, do those even, like, offline stuff, does that actually even exist anymore? Can you call up a human to say, hey, I need a job?
I don't even know. I don't know. And in fairness, we have not looked for jobs in years. We have not been employees since we were in university. So I have no idea what it's like. I feel like if I needed, well, I would like to get a job.
Well,
I don't
that's realistically. Somebody's like,
know.
"Can you do this for me?" And I'm like, give me like I gotta do a little bit of research, so I'm gonna say yes, but I have to and it's just because they know me or they were referred to me, and I'm like, yeah, I want to just figure it out. So,
Well,
um,
what we're learning week over week is we don't have a good possibility of even finding a JLB. So we might as well have to figure out a way to make money because we're too old. We probably won't get all the options we need, and our resume will disappear because we have too much experience.
well, and
So the only
and New Zealand, so
it just says when you do that.
okay, cut on me. Finally, you cut it. The audio cut out. There you go. I'm not supposed to
Just for
say what I
that
was.
part, just for you, what you
Yeah.
were saying.
Oh, okay. See, we're being watched.
Maybe not by the people we want, but we're being watched.
Oh no.
The algorithms. But I'm gonna come back to Jimmy, and he is very, very true that we have some terrifying physics going on, and I think there is nothing. Oh wait, where is it here? Nothing more true than we are in deep shit. I think we really are, and I think these stories, whether it's weather, whether it's just the technology, there's a lot of problems going on. So that is not
And
true.
this was only episode 13. This is only the end of season 1 of this show, and that's that's a few stories, but we're just getting started with these. So
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
because 2 of them are true.
So let's do the verdict, and then we'll get out. Let's find out which one is
Are you
the
gonna do
lie.
the not the asshole
Yeah, yeah, we're doing the verdict. What's your verdict?
okay. Oh, not the. I don't think the people are the assholes in any of these.
I don't either.
Oh, yeah,
I
like
feel, well, maybe we are because we're using the technology. Maybe that is really it. Maybe we are the assholes because we're legitimately using technology that doesn't work for us.
and we know we shouldn't be, but we're just like programmed now as human slaves to just use the technology and then complain about it. It's about
It,
that. That's what our life has become in 2026. I know I shouldn't be using this technology, and I use it, so therefore I am the asshole.
exactly, because we're not learning. It's not working for our benefit. It's not working to help and make our lives better. The AI things are so
You know
scammy.
that, that, that
Like we're just literally at this point where we are probably all the assholes for using these things. But then at the same time, you brought up a really good point. Is there any more like employment centers that exist? I don't even know. I would say there probably isn't in Canada anymore.
Okay, so you know how I was watching that web? I got it. I got that invite to that webinar today, and you're like, "What's it about?" Then I'm like, "Well, if I tell you, you're going to be upset with me." And it was like literally, you know, them saying, everything you make with AI is shit. And the reason it's shit is because all AI is shit, blah 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 blah. But you know what? I've got the newest version of this, so you should learn how to not make shit using my shit. And it's like, this is the worst thing I've watched for an hour. I'm just tuning it out. But I'm like, people are,
So
there's
who's
probably
the asshole there? Were you the asshole for watching it
that
for
was
that?
it. I was the asshole for believing Russell Brunson had some new idea that was not AI related. I was like, wait a minute, I've got your books, and I've followed you and trying to figure out online traffic and bringing business to my business over the last 10 years, et cetera, et cetera. I like your teaching, and then I watched this thing today, and it's like, you're just telling us everything we make is garbage based on the fact that everything on the internet is garbage, but you're trying to sell us more hot garbage, and I'm just turning this off because
Mike, hey, it's his shiny turd. His
exactly
garbage has shine on it. So that's why it
only
matters.
for a new subscription of $97 a month. Come on.
Exactly. Get his shiny turd. But the overall was, of course, not an asshole. Normal, Facebook's algorithm are discriminating on gender, cost you opportunities and your right to sue and to complain. Facebook's algorithm learned from biased historical data and amplified those biases. So we're all about, we want equality, we want fairness. Then we're literally building systems that are biased and putting us back into gender roles. Win, right? They should have audited the discrimination before deploying, and broader society needs technology's algorithms inherit and amplify our historical bias. And one of the top comments is, this is how visible discrimination works in a digital age, or sorry, how invisible discrimination works in a digital age. The algorithm learns that women apply for specific jobs and men apply for other jobs. So it's historical inequality. And then it ensures that that inequality continues by showing people only those jobs. We're automating discrimination now.
Pretty
Win.
much. And the only way you would know that you were being discriminated is really having backup account that's got opposite gender on it, opposite race or whatever, heritage, different age, and just compare and contrast, like literally comparing and contrasting. Hey,
Exactly, right? Exactly. Oh god, this is hilarious. Not quite related, but what the outcome of H2O plus A equals E? Well, that's when you get an asshole in the middle of the hurricane is the size of Texas. You get those massive, the hurricane eyes.
yeah. You know what? It was like that guy today on Facebook where I'm like, he replied to me with a meme and it was shaking its butt at me, and I'm like, you're missing the Claude butthole on it.
Once you realize Claude, once you pointed out that Claude thinking looks like a butthole expanding and contracting, I cannot unsee it. And for
Eh,
everybody, I have now, you will see that well.
we ruined AI for you. Just go look at the logo for Claude AI. It looks like a chocolate starfish.
I'm saying, I'm
Mental
pretty sure,
image you didn't know. You didn't need to know that you needed to know about. So
and now you'll never unsee it. So
exactly.
you're welcome. If you learned anything today, you'll never unsee the Claude butthole. Okay, so now we're gonna go down. Throw your guesses into the chat. Which one do you think is made up? So, Mike, do you want to go over those?
Okay. The dog moved my hand, and now I am like, okay, final guess here. 3 stories, and I got dog fur on me. 3 stories, and one is completely made up. Story 1: I got flagged by an AI proctoring system for blinking during an exam. Story number 2: a dating app algorithm secretly hid me from everyone because I'm older. And story number 3: Facebook's algorithm showed me job ads by gender, and I won a discrimination lawsuit. Lock it in. And if you're new, subscribe now. We do this every Monday.
We got Mind Mystique, guess number 2. Do you want to put your guess in before I reveal it?
Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking 2 and 3 makes sense. I'm gonna guess 1's a lie, but
Okay, you're guessing lie.
you
Number
ready for the drum
one.
roll? Ready for the drum roll?
Yes, I'm ready for the drum roll.
Everybody, make a drum roll noise. That was terrible.
And the reveal. Story number 2 was the lie. So my mystique was right. So dating apps do use algorithms. Dating apps do learn patterns about which users engage more. The technology to deprioritize profiles based on age absolutely exists, and dating apps could be banning to hide older users. The components of the story are real. However, there is not a specific documented case of dating apps shadow banning older users for engagement that we could find. Doesn't mean it isn't actually happening. The technology could do it. The motivation exists, but this story has not been verified. So if you're on a dating app and you're older, this would be something you may want to look into. Story 1, that is completely real. 2025, schools deployed AI proctoring systems. Students got flagged for blinking, breathing, irregularly shifting in chairs, having curly hair. One student was flagged for the eye movements suggesting thinking. Teachers rebelled, parents threatened lawsuits, and the system was scrapped within months. And the AI was documented with racial bias. It flags women with darker skin tones at significantly higher rates. And then story 3 is also completely real. This was 2025, early 2026. Facebook Meta's algorithms were sorting job ads by gender. A bus driver ad was shown exclusively to men. Nursery assistant was exclusively to women. No gender preference was specified by the advertisers. The algorithm learned gender stereotype from historical data and then reinforced it. So now in 2026, the court ruled it violated the discriminating laws. And I guess the scariest part, story 2 isn't far from being real. Dating apps could definitely be doing it right now. So if you're on an app, I would highly look into that.
So yes, tonight wasn't really about dating apps or
Hold on,
school.
we gotta
Oh,
highlight Jimmy. Starting to realize
okay,
that
go ahead, Jimmy.
Frankenstein was a genius. He really was. He was. No argument there.
Dr.
Any
Frankenstein.
thoughts overall with the summary of the truth and lie before we get into the end?
I'm surprised, but now that I'm like, okay, the one I get, you know what? It's no, I'm not surprised because it's like people asking us about the YouTube algorithm. I'm like, one algorithm? Are you crazy? There's multiple. What do you mean
And you
there's
don't know
multiple?
which one's
What do you
working.
mean there's multiple? And it's like me talking to people I know who do Facebook ads, and they're like, well, there's not one Facebook ad algorithm. There's multiple running in simultaneous sequence because they're always collecting data, which would make sense. That's why 3 would make sense being real because even though job companies looking for employees, job posting companies are putting like Facebook. If you're putting that stuff on Facebook, Facebook's just like, well, we already have this data. Like we already know who you're going to hire based on who applies. So even if you wanted male people for this job, we're just going to show it to females because we know that's all you've traditionally hired anyway.
Well, and being in fairness, the Facebook wants you to successfully get recruits, and it's like looking at the historical bias. These are your more prone, but is that fair? No, it's not. Historical biases, the way AI works, is definitely not about fair. It is about historical data. That is also why when you're using AI and it gives you any answer, you have to still go and research and do your
Well,
due diligence.
and I was gonna back to the Facebook advertising thing because I know there's somebody I met in person. I've met her in person multiple times, and she runs a Facebook ads ecosystem. And she was explaining where it's like, they're gonna show you eventually, but times we know they're interested, but how much that same they just get longer than a second or two, you're eventually going to buy and click and fill out that thing. And Facebook's just going to, they pick up on it and they're just going to hammer you with that ad because they're just waiting for you to get, how many times do they have to show it to you before you give in? Same as the applying for the jobs thing. They're like, oh, we know this person. Like Facebook likely already knows what jobs you're going to apply for based on what you're posting and what you're liking and what you've traditionally applied for, right?
And what you put in your, how much information have you put on Facebook? What have you put your careers, all your work? Like it already knows, right? We have we've willingly have given it too much information, right?
How desperate you are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, right?
Yes, exactly. But I'm going to say I did laugh. Like when I was prepping it, you heard me laughing. I was laughing so hard at story one. Like that just, I like, it was just too, I just literally.
You wouldn't tell me. You wouldn't give me a hint of what you were laughing at because you're like just compiling these stories, and it's like, oh, she's having. I said this is the fun. Like all of our shows are fun, but this one's like, it's so like we're just exposing all these draconian like technology stories, and realistically, they're all true. It's not true right now, but it's likely true as of tomorrow.
Exactly. Like we said, the technology all exists for every single one. We know 1 and 3 are for sure documented, real. Number 2, I'm just assuming people have not caught it yet. To think about. And I do like Jimmy's comment. Eventually, we'll all be controlled by AI. That's not even human, except for the ADHD squirrels. Like Robin Williams, we won't notice anything for a very long time. Well, this is why we're talking about it is, can we notice before? You know, how much are we consenting to? How much we've already given to technology for convenience, and how much actually not for our benefit?
And that brings up something interesting. You know, you were like talking about Cliff High today and how he made, you know, realistically, everything is already disclosed in much advance of things actually happening because there's like little, you know, there's information on the internet about certain events happening long time before they actually happen. So things can be predicted.
Before they admit it, or before the majority of people get on the bandwagon. Like the reality is, if you're waiting for them to tell you, you're going to be the last one to find out when it's already too late to do anything about it. What we've seen, mentioned this before, where there was a news article about mortgages in Canada and what you needed to do with your mortgage to prevent this, like all of these mortgage refusals that were happening and stuff going on. And I'm like, well, it's a little too late. You've never advised anybody this. Now telling them the truth at this point is literally useless because you can't go back in time and do that now. So it's like, it's very much like everything else. It's very much like seeing and watching all of these signs that we're hitting back to the 1999 bubble. We're getting a tech bubble. They're telling us we're getting into these bubbles, and people are still investing because the markets are rising. You're literally ignoring the signs because that's going to crash and you are going to get stuck in it and you're going to lose all your money again because you've just refused to watch the signs. And so it's really on us. Who's the asshole here is us not paying attention to what they're telling us. It's very much like the one person that you had that told you they ghosted their friends. I said that was them telling you who they truly were. People and systems will tell you in advance. It's whether we decide to actually take it seriously.
Exactly. Oh, that was perfect. It was like, you know, people are going to tell you in advance of how they're going to treat you, and it's up to you to acknowledge and just be like, okay, they've already told me exactly how they are. But if you're dependent on, you know,
well, if you're dependent on the system and you believe the system is going to let you know, it's already too late. You're not paying attention. And Jimmy has a perfect point. 2001, and if we look at that, what about 2019? They had the pandemic response thing in October of 2019, which just mirrored what they did in 2020. They always do something. They tell us in advance all of these things that are happening. It really should not surprise anybody if you are paying attention. And so if you're not, then you are the asshole. That is unfortunately where we're going. But I'm not gonna lie. Well, I'm gonna say my trust when the markets, like, we bought a condo just before the market downturn in 2008, and we never regained value. We essentially sold it 12, 13 years later at $100,000 loss. We held on to it for another over a decade and it never rebound. And so I've learned from that. Just like our stocks, we lost in that as well. I had mutual funds for retirement. As soon as I got my money back, I pulled all of it out, paid the taxes. I won't invest in it. You know what? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Is that shame on you? Or sorry, shame on
I
you
don't
that you fool me
know.
twice.
You can't
Whatever.
even say that. You can't even bring it up if you're not going to say it properly.
I
Come
don't
on.
remember the words, but you get my point. They're fooling us, and if you're not learning, you become
That's,
the
that's,
asshole.
that's like the George W. Bush answer when he said it wrong.
I'll read my
Anyway,
book upside
I'm
down.
going to read a book upside down on
As
TV.
they're telling me, it's all upside down. Oh wait, I better not. This will flag. This will make a lot of people triggered. That book.
Oh, it's already done that. We'll see how the shorts do.
So and
Can I do the closing?
yeah, let's go on.
Okay.
Let's finish this
Okay.
up. But thank you, Jimmy,
Okay.
and that's exactly right. Let's continue.
Okay. Tonight wasn't really about dating apps or schools or the Facebook algorithm. It was about something much bigger. Every story tonight involves systems making decisions about people without their knowledge and without their consent. A proctoring system flagging students for blinking. An algorithm hiding women from job opportunities. Systems learning from our biases and then amplifying them. And that's what makes these stories terrifying. Not because the technology exists, but because the people affected often never even know it's happening to them.
And that is actually becoming one of our biggest challenges of our time. Algorithms are getting more sophisticated. Artificial intelligence is going to keep learning and learning faster. And the systems making decisions about us are becoming more invisible every year, every day, actually. And the question isn't about whether it's good or bad. The question is, do we actually understand what the systems are even judging us about? Because awareness changes everything. When you understand how algorithms work, you protect yourself directly. You can ask different questions, recognize the pattern others miss. And that's exactly why we've created the strategic timing and visibility system.
Everything begins with our free gold membership. Gold isn't about giving you more information, there's already too much information. Gold is about helping you recognize the patterns that actually matter. Every month, we share our strategic timing guide, important astrology and numerology dates, and updates from all four of our weekly shows and the trends we're watching across technology, AI, algorithms, business, and the collective. Our goal is simple: to help you become harder to manipulate, harder to deceive, and harder to be invisible to, because when you understand what's changing, you make better decisions and don't end up falling for the next shiny turd AI system out there.
Exactly. Because once you begin recognizing the patterns of the shiny turds, something interesting happens. You start asking different questions. How how do I use this technology intentionally instead of letting it control me? How do I become visible to the people who need my work instead of being invisible to the algorithms? Because technology itself isn't the enemy. It can help us build, it can help us reach people, create opportunities, but only when we use it consciously and not blindly.
And that's exactly why we created Visibility University. Every Saturday morning, we teach people how to use YouTube, what we're streaming on right now, AI, automation, and modern technology intentionally, not to chase fame, not to chase the algorithms, but to make it easier for the right people to discover the work that you're already doing. Whether you've written a book, started a business, or you're teaching something valuable, or have a message you believe people need to hear, visibility isn't about becoming famous. It's about being discoverable by the people who actually need you. And just like tonight's stories, the people who understand the systems almost always get better results than the people who don't.
Mm-hmm. Because when you know that it's working against you, you can plan better. So everything we teach has come back to four simple ideas: understand the timing, recognize a pattern, develop discernment, and take action. Because information alone doesn't change your life. The decisions you make because of the information does. And if you'd like to continue learning with us, go and join our gold membership. You can go to my website, breathewithinyoga.com button, click there. You'll automatically be added and get access to our gold membership. And if you're ready for us to help you get discovered, then go to IamYouTubeFamous.com and check out our visibility engine.
Because everything we do each week builds on the last. It's one journey shared across 4 live shows. So yesterday was Sunday. Always at 7:11 p.m. Eastern, we have our weekly energy overview. So Julianne looks at the week ahead through astrology, numerology, and collective timing so you can understand the conditions before you make important decisions. Monday. Tonight's a Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. 2 real, 2 truths, 1 lie. We examine technology, AI, algorithms, and the systems quietly shaping our lives, not to tell you what to think, but to help you think more clearly about what's really going on in the world around you. Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, we have our Honestly Though, where we zoom out and we connect the news stories, follow the patterns, and explore the bigger picture and ask what those patterns mean for all of us. And Saturdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, Visibility University, where you learn practical strategies to build your message, your business, get your YouTube channel started, fixed, posting regularly, and your visibility using today's tools without getting lost in the noise. One improvement, one system, one step at a time.
Every week follows the same path. Understand the timing, recognize a pattern, develop discernment, and take action. Because the world isn't slowing down, tech slowing down. Are definitely not slowing down. The people who thrive won't necessarily be the ones with the most information. They'll be the ones who learn to recognize what is happening before everyone else does, like we were talking about. So we'd love you to join us. Start with our free gold membership at breathewithinyoga.com. And if you're ready to make your own work easier to discover, IamYouTubeFamous.com. And we will see you next time. So remember, Monday, make sure you subscribe on your way out. But we will see you on Thursday for Honestly Though, where we're going to be looking at the week and the news stories and make those make sense. Have a great evening, everybody, and we'll see you on Thursday. Bye. And thank you. And side note, thank you everybody for watching.
Jimmy!